The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
The following is a paid advertisement. The opinions and views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the PSVG Podcast Network or its employees, except for maybe Coach Mo. Are you looking for an amazing RPG? What about expansive multiplayer? Perhaps a single-player campaign as well. But what if that single-player campaign could be played with friends and not be watered down? Do you think it sounds too good to be true? Well, it sounds like the game dreams are made of. But wait, dreams can come true. Just pick up a copy of Madden 19, available on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Nintendo... Oh. Wait, no, never mind. Anyway, as I was saying, pick up a copy of Madden 19, one of the nominees for Game of the Year by PSVG. This message was brought to you by PSVG OT and Sports Gamers Unite.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me?
Good morning and welcome to episode 23 of the PlayStation Experience podcast, the PlayStation Experience to the Game Awards. That is the PSXP Prime, PSVG Prime. I messed that up, except we're not skipping a year, so I guess
true.
we're the
So the analogy doesn't quite work.
We're the Kind of Funny Games showcase to PSVG Prime of the Game Awards. Yeah. I need to stop recording these at 6 a.m. Anyway, I am Seth, and I'm joined this week, as always, by Justin. How's it going, Justin?
It's going good. It's getting cold out, but Christmas time is here. I'm excited.
Christmas time is here.
That's right. Yeah, it's a nice time of year. I just took my niece.
Don't know any of the rest of the words.
No one does.
Okay.
We all just hum. Everyone really just hums under their breath to the words. So, just took my niece to see The Grinch yesterday, the new one.
Okay, yeah.
So that was fun. And
I enjoy that one. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good take on The Grinch. I like that he wasn't so mean to his dog, Max, in this one. He actually seemed to love his dog, which was nice.
Yeah, he didn't seem like as bad of a guy as say the Jim
Carrey version.
Grinch.
Yeah.
So.
If you watch that movie, which we watch a lot, it's one of our go-to Christmas movies.
Okay.
The Jim Carrey version of The Grinch, and he's sometimes downright abusive to that dog.
He is
a little upsetting.
What movie we watched this weekend was The Christmas Chronicles.
Oh, is that the new one on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Has Kurt Russell as Santa.
Yeah. My wife informed me that he's referred to as Hot Santa now.
Kurt Russell?
Yes. She didn't come up with this. She just said that that's what people are saying on the internet, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, well, I don't know about that either. I mean, I like Kurt Russell, but
he didn't look like Hot Santa to you?
He's 67 years old.
He is old, yeah. He's about the right age to play Santa, so
that's true.
Anyways,
all right. Well, this is not a Christmas movie podcast, although it sounds like we certainly both recommend The Grinch, and I recommend Christmas Chronicles. It's not the greatest movie you'll ever see, but it's a fine Christmas movie. It's better than Hallmark Christmas movies. So,
good. That's good.
Anyway, probably on par with like the Santa Claus.
All right.
I don't know. Except we don't have the nostalgia for it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking that one out.
Kind of like how the SNES Classic, if you didn't have the nostalgia, you wouldn't really care for it. So anyway, I'm gonna just slide past that. It's probably the same for the PlayStation Classic, or more so. I'm gonna slide on past that. We are going to skip ahead some of our normal stuff here and go right into some news of the week. talking about the reason why this is our. Usually we would take this week off, and but there was a lot of news that kind of broke over the weekend, thanks to the Game Awards and the Kind of Funny Games Showcase. So we're gonna kind of run down some of the games there that and announcements that we're interested in that relate to PlayStation. Starting with the Game Awards, did you watch any of the Game Awards, or how did you sort of pay attention?
Yeah, I watched. Surprisingly, I had the time to watch the Game Awards, though I was doing other chores around the house, so I just kind of had it on the TV. My wife was working, so I just kind of had it on a little bit loud, and I would just check in every once in a while when I heard something interesting happening. So I missed a few of these things, but I caught most of it.
Yeah. I didn't watch it live.
I didn't watch the pre-show either.
Yeah, it's just it's a long event.
Very
and-
long.
But this year, I think as much as any year or even more, they had a lot of trailers and had a lot of world premieres, things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are things that are coming to PlayStation. I don't think anything exclusive to PlayStation, but a lot of stuff coming to PlayStation. Sort of one of the top things that people have been asking since the Crash trilogy was re-released here is Crash Team Racing. So there's a new Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled game that's coming next year, and a lot of people are excited about that. Are you a kart racing?
I like Mario Kart,
Yeah.
but I've never played Crash Team Racing. I know there's a lot of nostalgia for it, and from what I know, it was a pretty decent kart racer at the time.
Yeah.
So it looks like a lot of the other remasters. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Or this isn't even a remaster really. It's just really just kind of a sequel.
Yeah, I think it's just a new game. They probably have tracks that call back to the old game.
Yep.
I never played Crash Team Racing. I know Donnie's really excited about it.
Yep.
I think he's the only one on PSVG who has played it, or at least who is nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
But it's a kart racer, and it's neat to have a. I mean, that's I think coming to maybe all three consoles. So it's good to have another kart racer. For me, it's not Mario Kart, and I can't see me. The only time I'm going to play kart racer is with my family, and I can't see me playing something that's not Mario Kart with them.
Yeah. Everyone already knows those characters, and Mario
Right.
Kart is a little bit harder to go to Crash Team Racing. Do you know if there's other weapons or like
There is some sort
power-ups
of
stuff, or...
yeah. There's power ups and
Okay.
combat
Yeah.
mechanic. So anyway, that's coming next summer. Did you have any? What was something that jumped out at you from the Game Awards?
So by far the biggest one for me was the Outer Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that one took me back a little bit because I was like, that looks like the Fallout game we all deserve. Compared to with this year being the kind of a bad year for Fallout in general. It looked like a sci-fi-ish, almost Western in some ways. Fallout, like it's a first person. It looked like a first person shooter RPG.
Yep.
So which makes sense because it's coming from Obsidian, who made Fallout New Vegas. So it might not be that it's obviously not the same engine, I would assume, because they would have just taken the Fallout engine when they made New Vegas, but seems they must have used a different engine or something for this game, which probably means it'll work better overall. But they still have experience with that style. So, I've never played New Vegas, but I know people really loved the missions and stories. So I would assume that this will have kind of the same good story and missions and mission design. So I don't know. I just liked everything about it. The look of it seemed to have a little bit of humor and stuff. Sorry,
Yep.
my cat just bit me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I really like. Yeah, it almost reminded me a little bit of Borderlands too.
Yep.
So what did you think of the Outer Worlds?
So the Outer Worlds is by far the most interesting thing. The game I'm most interested in that was either revealed or got a new trailer there or anything. It's set in space, and you're going to this planet that we are trying to settle. and it was I think the story is that we have some colonists on Earth, and we need to go find a new settlement, and we are on a I don't know the technical terms for it, but you're on a ship and you're in cryo freeze and you're supposed to go to this new world, but you get kind of knocked off course and it ends up taking a lot longer to get there, and so you get there and it's kind of unsettled, and it's a new frontier, which gives it that Western vibe. Things were built kind of new, but then nothing happened, so I think it's a little bit dilapidated. And it does have that Western vibe. It has sci-fi. It really reminds me a lot of what Mass Effect Andromeda could have been.
Yeah,
Just in a first-person Fallout kind of
like
look.
exploring space, a new area, stuff like that.
So it'll be interesting to see how much exploring, how many different worlds there are. Is it based on the pitch, I would assume you go to this one settlement, this one world, and then there's some exploring of other nearby planets. Maybe I don't know, but I'm really excited about that. It is if it actually comes out next year, probably at the top of my list at this point. And I've watched some gameplay. I know Game Informer had a 15-minute run through of it.
Okay.
And I'm sure other places might also, but it looks cool. Other things coming PlayStation's way. There's the Stanley Parable was on PC a couple
PC
years
only.
ago.
Yeah,
PC only, and it's supposed to have a really good story. I think it's about a guy named Stanley, and it's sort of a walking sim type adventure game. But it is finally coming to consoles, and I'm interested in that. Like, it's not something that I'm running out on day one to pay $20 to play or anything. But
I was actually interested in that one as well. Because I heard it was pretty funny. Kind of makes fun of the game industry a lot, and I imagine they kind of redid a lot of those jokes since this is like a newer edition, so should be funny.
Yeah, it says experimental, narrative-driven, first-person game. Talks about choice, freedom, storytelling, and reality, all examined through the lens of what it means to play a video game. So I don't know. It'll be. I think it's neat that that's coming to consoles. I have been sort of looking forward to that. Did you see any of the Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey?
Yeah, I did catch that one. That one looked pretty bad to me. I don't know. It seems like maybe it's a cool idea, like the thought of it, but the gameplay looked pretty rough. Granted, it is early on, so but it looked so rough that I wouldn't have shown it off. So, and it's from the original creator of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was the original creator or somebody who just has worked on those games.
Yeah. So it's loosely, someone from higher up on the Assassin's Creed team at some point is working on this, but that's not. I'm not even sure why you're bringing that up, because it's nothing like Assassin's Creed. So
no, I think the idea might be that the movement is a little bit like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you were jumping around and climbing trees and stuff.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So I'm not sure. You start off as an ape 10 million years ago in Africa, and then I think it somehow goes through time with the idea that eventually, evolution and stuff. So and it's a survival game, sort of, but it's a strange one.
Yeah. What about Far Cry? The new they debuted a trailer for the new Far Cry.
Yeah.
And did you play Far Cry 5?
No, I've never played. I played part of Far Cry 4, like maybe the first 2 hours, and that's the only Far Cry I've ever played.
Oh, okay. So you're not even like you're not a huge fan or anything, but I played through Far Cry 3, 4, 3 and 4, and then I just kind of got burnt out after that, and I didn't play Far Cry 5. The story did not look interesting to me at all. This one looks extremely interesting to me. So I think from what I understand, it's actually a sequel to Far Cry 5, in a weird way, maybe.
Yeah.
But it looks interesting to me. It's post-apocalyptic now. Supposedly a nuke went off, and yeah, it just looks interesting to me. So I think this might be the Far Cry that brings me back into playing it again.
Yeah, it I mean, it had a good trailer. I assume you play as those two girls.
I was confused about that because I couldn't tell if they were the bad guys or if that's who you played as.
Okay. Well, I for some reason I get the impression that you play as them, but
Okay.
I could be off. If you do play as them, maybe we can find that out. If you do play as them, I think that's a pretty shouldn't be a bold choice to play as two African American females in a game, but it kind of is.
They are the villains.
Oh, they're the villains. Okay, well then,
That actually goes against what you were the point you were gonna make.
never mind. Anyway, they were pretty cool villains. And it seems like that is one, at least since Far Cry 3, has been kind of a constant, is they've had pretty cool villains. I think
Yes, they do. Yep.
one of the complaints I've actually heard is that you haven't seen enough of the villains, especially
Yep.
with Troy Baker in Far Cry 4. That they
That's
just
very
aren't.
true. Same thing with Far Cry 3. I can't remember the main villain. Well, you thought he was the main villain, but it turned out he wasn't.
Boss.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, so
Yeah.
you don't see as much of him as you want to.
Kind of moving on. So Far Cry New Dawn. I think most, if not all, of these games that were talked about are supposed to be coming in 2019, which is crazy because 2019 is already pretty packed, supposedly. I mean, I figure some of these games and some of the games we already know about will slide into 2020 anyway, but it's going to be a crazy year next year if all of these actually hit. There's a game called The Last Campfire that's coming out that don't really know a ton about. It says it's a Hello Games short, and it's you play this little guy, and I don't know, it shows him rowing a boat, and he looks kind of Journey-esque, like a shorter Journey type character.
Yeah.
And you're going around to different campfires and discovering things. I don't know exactly, but I like Hello Games. I really like No Man's Sky, even though I mean, I think that the launch of that was botched. This is a completely different kind of game, which I think is really, Hello Games has Joe Danger, No Man's Sky, and now this, which is like an exploration puzzle game a la Journey, where Joe Danger was a stunt physics-based game. No Man's Sky was open universe exploration Minecraft game, and now this is like a exploring adventure puzzle game.
Yeah, I was excited to see that one. I was kind of excited just to see. Yeah, I'm a fan of Hello Games. I I bought No Man's Sky. I wasn't totally into it, but like I appreciated what it was for sure. And yeah, the launch may have been botched a little bit, but overall they built something pretty cool. And they're still a very small team.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of excited to see them come out with a new game, in a smaller game that it does look interesting. I know towards like the end of the trailer, it looked like it might get a little bit like dark, and stuff. So I guess that's a good one. I'll just kind of pay attention to. It's not like a day one or anything like that for me, but like a lot of games like that, I'll just kind of pay attention to it, and maybe it gets a sale or maybe it turns out to be really good. I don't know, but I was excited to see Hello Games come out with something new.
Yeah, and I hope that they have, because I think that the team, I mean, really the only one is Sean, the kind of the face of the company, but they seem like good guys, and they've been through. It'll be interesting to see the experience that they've had with No Man's Sky and how that informs their other games. I would expect The Last Campfire at this point to, when it's actually released, be the least buggy game ever. To be the most complete, no bugs. That probably won't happen, but I expect it to be a fully complete experience. Speaking of artsy fartsy games, there's a game coming from the creators of Abzu, Giant Squid Studios, called The Pathless, which looked interesting, kind of nebulous, but don't really know what kind of game it is. But it says you take on the role of the hunter and archery master. You journey to a mysterious land to stop an evil darkness that threatens the world as we know it. Along the way, you team up with a mighty eagle, and the bond you two share determines how successful you are on your journey. So we'll see. A lot of these games sort of remind me. none of them have ever reached the heights of Journey, which is one of my favorite games of all time, probably in my top 10. But this is sort of from an offshoot of the team that made Journey, and it looks appropriately artistic and mysterious, and kind of harkens back to the PlayStation of about 5 or 6 years ago when they had a bunch of these kind of artsy, mysterious games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't play Abzu. I played Journey, but it didn't really click for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think I just kind of missed out on that experience or something. So like this game, the trailer looked like it looked like it was more involved than Journey or Abzu.
There's some. It says he's an archer. There's some sort of combat or shooting.
Yeah, that interested me a little bit because I do appreciate the artness of it and everything. Whatever. I don't know if that is artness a word.
Sure.
Okay, I just made it one.
Yeah.
You know what I meant. And so I appreciate that stuff. But maybe with a little bit of mild combat, I would be able to get more into it.
Right.
Because I need to be able to hurt things if I want to enjoy my video game stuff.
Understandable. You are a Call of Duty dude bro gamer. So
yeah, that's me.
The other thing that was released or teased, and it is such just a tease. There's nothing to it. There was a short teaser for Dragon Age: The Dread Wolf Rises, which is really just a close up of I don't even know what it was, if it was a ship or something. From BioWare, which of course is releasing Anthem in 2 months. And so I thought it was kind of weird timing for a teaser of this game. I'm not as far as BioWare goes. I loved the Mass Effect trilogy. Then there's Knights of the Old Republic, and then I've tried a couple of the Dragon Age games, and neither of them have clicked with me. But I'm always open to trying them. Are you a Dragon Age?
I played Inquisition, and I liked it quite a bit. But I got burnt out on it. I think I got to a point where I needed to grind, and I did not want to grind, or I was having weird issues with like getting through the story.
Okay.
Like I appreciate an RPG where like they either make it easy for you to grind and give you an area to just kind of fight enemies willy-nilly, or I like to be able to get through the story without having to grind. I understand if you want to like make some cool content off to the side, maybe harder to do, but something just happened with that game where I didn't finish it. So it was really good though. I played I don't know, maybe 20 hours.
Okay.
But it's a long game. So I'm really excited that they're gonna go back to Dragon Age. I did like that style of combat and everything. I think I prefer Mass Effect. But then again, I didn't play Mass Effect 3. I didn't play Andromeda because all I heard was there's a bunch of issues. So, I think you're right. It's a little weird that they're announcing or teasing it right now. Seems like they could have waited until E3 next year, and then maybe they actually have something to show. Yeah. Anthem's out. Anthem's probably getting close to having DLC by then. But then you show, here's the next full game that we got coming out.
Right. I'm sure. I mean, Anthem. If the plan is for that to be a Destiny type of game, Anthem is a game that presumably is going to live for the next 2 years at least with content. So I don't know. How many different teams they have. I mean, I know BioWare is a huge studio with multiple studios and multiple teams, but I feel like this game, it was sort of teased before the Game Awards by I can't think of the main guy for BioWare, one of the main creative guys.
I can't think of his name either. I know. Yeah.
But anyway, we sort of knew that this Dragon Age teaser was coming, that they were working on it, and so I don't know if we assume that he was working on it also, the guy behind the Mass Effect trilogy, who then left and then came back for Anthem. So I don't know. Casey Hudson, okay. I don't know if he's part of this Dragon Age stuff or not. If he is, I I would think that it's quite a ways away. Yeah, I can't imagine that game comes out in 2019, maybe 2020. Who knows?
Yeah, I would guess 2020, which means now they teased it 2 years early,
Yep.
which is a little bit of a long time. So
So one of the other games, I talked about the Outer Worlds being sort of at the top of my list. The other game that is right there neck and neck, especially if it ever comes to console, which I would hope that it does, is Hades. The next game from Supergiant, which developed Transistor and Bastion and Pyre. And Transistor and Bastion, mess those up, are two of my favorite games. Transistor's still one of my top 3 games on PlayStation 4. Loved Bastion. I love Pyre. It's not quite as that one's more of a visual novel crossed with a sports game, and sometimes the visual novel gets a little bit long in the tooth. But I really liked it. I love their style. Hades reminds me of a kind of a cross between Pyre and Transistor, where it's the gameplay sort of Transistor, not a little bit, and then just the style kind of remind me a little bit of Pyre, and it's a roguelite. So I guess you're Hades, and you're trying to get out of hell, or your character, I think you're Zeus's son, which I don't know my Greek mythology that closely.
neither do I.
But it's a Hades is the child of Cronus and Rhea. So, you're I think you play as Hades and you are in hell and you're trying to escape, and you go through and you keep on dying, and every time you die you kind of get reborn and you run through again. So it's a roguelite, which will be interesting from Supergiant because I like their narratives a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how you balance the roguelite, the rogue genre, with hopefully a strong story. Do you are you into Supergiant games at all?
I played Transistor and I really liked it, but I didn't complete it. Another game I just kind of fell off of, but I really liked it. I think they have a really cool style, and I want to play Pyre. But I might just skip that one. But I mean, this one looks most like Transistor to me. If I was,
it looks.
Which Transistor was really just kind of evolution of Bastion, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It kind of turned it more. They almost added. I mean, being able to pause time and select your moves and something was something totally different from Bastion, but still like isometric.
Yep.
Kind of combat. So
yeah, it from the same point of view as Bastion. Playing wise, obviously a wholly different story. Bastion is very Western fantasy, and Transistor is futuristic sci-fi fantasy. But the gameplay mechanics are pretty similar, except with Transistor, right? There's a stop time mechanic, which turns it into a little bit of a turn-based RPG, but you don't even really have to do that if you're good enough, I guess, which I wasn't. But I love Transistor, and I love the music in all their games. The Hades soundtrack is currently available on the Supergiant YouTube page. You can go on and listen to their music. I really love that. And so I'm hoping it's on Steam early release or Epic Game Store early release on PC right now. And I'm hoping that it comes over to PS4 next fall, sometime next year. PS4 or Switch, it really wouldn't matter to me, as long as it doesn't come exclusively to Xbox. Because I mean that would, as silly as it sounds, for as small of a team as that is, and as small of a game as that is, I mean that's Supergiant is a developer that would make me buy a system, just because I like their games that much.
Yeah.
Speaking of other games that we sort of wish were coming to PlayStation 4, but aren't going to, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order, which is apparently a Switch exclusive. I like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, and I think they're high quality, and that's a great get for Switch, and it'll be fun over there. Have you played any of the previous Ultimate Alliance games?
No, I missed all those ones, so I know that they're pretty big. Yeah. So I know it's kind of big get for a Switch and kind of a loss for the other two systems. Because I mean, it'll certainly sell a few Switches. And it'll sell well on Switch, I'm sure. It's
a good co-op multiplayer game.
Yeah.
You jump on and you're each Marvel characters and running around it. Not exactly like Diablo, but kind of reminds me a little bit of the Diablo, at least the old games of the Diablo game flow a little bit.
Reminds me of a lot of the older like beat 'em up games on maybe PlayStation 2. Like I remember I had a Fantastic Four game for PS2, and it was a lot like this. It was you could have up to 4 people, which I don't know how that's possible. Well, could you have 4 people on PS2?
Yeah, the multi-tap.
Yeah. So you could have up to 4 people, and you just go from stage to stage and beat people up. And this looks, which is kind of like Diablo. It's the same premise, really. It's just all different kind of views and stuff. So,
yeah. All right. Do you have anything else from the Game Awards before we move on to?
No, I don't think so. I mean, still, yeah, the biggest thing for me by far was the Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of trailers, though. I was excited about a lot of that stuff, and a little bit long. The whole thing was a little bit long, but man, did you see the Devil May Cry like music section? Okay, I don't know. They played like some heavy metal like / classical music. That was supposedly from Devil May Cry, and it made me never want to play a Devil May Cry game, which is unfortunate because that game looks kind of good, but like I don't know, I was not into the music at all. It was like kind of screamo too, which was like a weird fit for the Game Awards. And yeah, I don't know. I was not into it. But yeah, nonetheless.
Yeah, overall, I didn't watch any of the only thing I did, I paid attention to who won the games, which I guess PlayStation Podcast game of the year was God of War.
Yeah, I know the main PSVG cast will talk about all of the winners later this week, or
earlier this week.
Yeah. Yeah, so they already have talked about it. So but like we should, I mean, shout out to God of War.
Yeah.
Got game of the year. So I think it's, and I know you haven't played it, but it is a really good game. It's up there for me for this year for sure.
Speaking of, as a plug for future Game of the Year stuff for PSXP, our Game of the Year episode will release on January 2nd. All things, assuming everything kind of goes as planned, and we have a couple of PSVG guests on that show coming on it. So we're excited to talk about our favorite games of 2018 here in a few weeks. So going on Saturday, it was kind of neat. There was a Kind of Funny Games showcase. Of course, Kind of Funny Games is the offshoot. Greg Miller and company left IGN 3 or 4 years ago now and started their own YouTube network and as Kind of Funny. And I think it sounds like they decided to put this showcase together sort of after the PlayStation experience was canceled or delayed by a year or whatever from PlayStation. And this was basically an hour-long YouTube video hosted by Greg Miller and Tim Geddes. And they had 69 game trailers or reveals or different things about 69 different games, mostly smaller indies. But they had a few other, like they had a sort of a trailer for Anthem, or where they're doing a walkthrough of Anthem also on their YouTube page, which is a pretty big get. They also had the official reveal that The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 3 is coming in January, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, they kind of ended on that. That was kind of that was their one last thing, and that was pretty cool.
And then
now, did you watch? So did you watch the whole hour then, or did you just kind of go through the news?
No, I just went through the news. During the event, I was at a 3rd and 4th grade girls basketball game.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then so sort of afterwards, I kind of watched through it a bit. It's really well put together. They have good humor. I haven't been as into Kind of Funny recently, but
yeah.
But I still Greg Miller was kind of one of the voices that I read and listened to, 10 years ago,
Yeah,
10,
early
12
on.
years
Yep.
ago. So kind of going back and watching him is sort of like comfort food, or it's almost nostalgic for me.
Yeah, I
So
can see
it was
that.
fun.
Yeah, it was. I watched. I watched it while I was like cooking dinner, so nothing. I was kind of paying attention, but like, yeah, it's just kind of cool to see them do that. And of course, they did this because there was no PSX this year. So, I mean,
because
that was all.
because we are the PlayStation experience now.
Yes, because we stole it. Yes.
We have to carry forward the brand
Yeah.
at this point. So there was the Walking Dead episode. There was a game. I didn't see this trailer, Judgment, which was a
Oh yeah, it was used to be called Project Judge.
yeah.
From the guys who make Yakuza.
Yes.
And I actually just heard the Game Informer guys talk about this recently because I think Game Informer got to go over there or something and play the upcoming game. It's more Yakuza is what
Okay.
they. It looks like they're just getting away from that storyline and going to a different. But it's a beat 'em up. I think that's when you play. I think you play a judge or maybe a detective. But a detective who apparently is really good at beating people up, and so but set in Japan again. I'm not sure which city it's set in one of the bigger cities, and it looks really cool. I mean, I just started playing Yakuza Kiwami, the very first game, the remaster of the very first game. So, I might be into this. I'm gonna play more of that game. I might move on to more of the modern games, like the latest Yakuza, and see how I like that. But yeah, I think their big announcement was it went from Project Judge to it's just called Judgment. That's the name of the game now.
And I think one of the ideas behind all of the reveals from Kind of Funny is that it's all games that are coming out in 2019.
Yeah.
Or I mean, they had some that were things that came out that day.
The day of, yeah.
Which is neat. So kind of running through again, they're not huge things. It's a lot of indie games, which is, I mean, that's what pads out the gaming calendar in between the big tentpole release. There's a game coming here in February called Away Journey to the Unexpected, which is a first-person exploration game with some combat that looks kind of. The game doesn't look Minecraft-ish. It's not blocky. It looks like a cartoon kind of.
Yeah.
But it's a sort of adventure exploration game that I thought looks pretty cool. I don't really know much of what you do, but it has it just looks interesting to me.
It looks cool. Yeah. Looks kid friendly too, which is interesting.
There was another game called Vane, Vane, from the former Team Eco developers, and it looks like another one of those artsy PlayStation games. I think it's exclusive to PS4. And I know you fly around as a bird thing a little bit, and it's kind of dark. And it could be interesting. Again, one of those artsy PlayStation games that you would expect to see around 2012, 13, 14 from PlayStation. I know some people, I like Kevin, is interested in Y2K, a postmodern RPG, which essentially has a bit of an Earthbound feel, just by the way that it looks, sort of based in the 90s. And something over on PlayStationLifestyle.net. Actually, this is an article from a year ago where they got to play it, but said the main character's house is laid out like the set from Full House. The logo for the town was really similar to Seinfeld. So I guess there's a lot of 90s references to this Y2K, which makes sense because it's called Y2K.
Yeah,
so maybe it's about the end of the world. I don't know.
It sounds really fun. Like that sounds worth it. Just play through that game just to like see how many things you could notice or pick out. So
yeah, and the 90s, I would think that I would catch more of those references in like Earthbound's 80s reference.
Yes.
So Earthbound. So Moving Out is a game that's a lot like, it basically looks like Overcooked, except instead of cooking, you are moving your friend out of their apartment.
Yeah.
So it looks like that could get pretty hectic.
It looked like a lot of fun. It's not the same developer though, is it?
No, I don't know.
Which weird because it looks almost identical to it, like their art style, which is like a little weird that they would do that. But it looks very similar. Like, a lot of, like, you need two people to carry a couch out and stuff like that. So kind of fun to do that.
Yeah. So so again, you can catch a lot of the full show is on YouTube, and you can catch rundowns
Yep.
of everything that was announced. Was there anything else that jumped out to you on that one?
The Desert Child. There was a trailer for that game. I don't that just looks awesome to me. The trailer looks super sweet. It was very 80s cyberpunk.
Yeah.
The actual gameplay, I think, is kind of like side-scrolling car combat. Except for you're on like a motorbike or something.
Yeah, you're on a hover bike.
Hover bike, yep.
You are trying to race, or you're trying to get to this one thing says you're doing a lot of jobs and racing to try and earn enough money to get to the red planet, when is Mars, I don't know.
Yeah.
To enter the biggest race in the universe, the Grand Prix. So I mean, it's a game, and I think it might be out
December 11th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow.
So tomorrow, well, yesterday.
Yes.
From
yes,
people
right.
hearing that. Oh, it looks like it was a Kickstarter game that reached its goal of $14,000 a couple years ago,
All right.
or last year. I don't know. $14,000 is
Maybe it's like
pretty
a
much for a
single developer. Even then, it's not much. But good for them that they made it and it's coming out. It looks really cool to me.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of what's that cyberpunk movie with Harrison Ford? Blade Runner. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of that. So, depending on the price point, I think I would actually try to play that.
Well, it has some of my favorite things. It has racing. It has cacti. Has a pretty sunset.
Yep.
So basically, it's like a racing game set to look like a western. I think I didn't actually see that's one trailer I didn't see, but people said it sort of gave off a Cowboy Bebop kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Desert Child, check it out now. And with that, I think we're kind of done with our recap of Game Awards and kind of funny. Kind of quickly touch on I don't think other new releases this week. Borderlands 2 VR comes out. That Desert Child game. And other than that, it's a pretty light week.
A VR mode for Prey.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Prey has just. Did you play Prey at all?
No.
I played, I don't know, quite a bit of it. I didn't beat it. But it was pretty cool. Like it had really cool tools and stuff. But they gave that game a lot of I don't know how to say it. They've been working on it a lot since they released it. Because I think it released and people weren't like too in love with it, but they just keep adding to it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a slow week.
We're getting close to Christmas.
Yeah.
Take a little break here before we get into January, and then really some big games start coming out in January. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a late January. What sort of before we sign off here, what have you been playing? Still Call of Duty?
A little bit of Call of Duty, more Red Dead.
Okay.
I just reached chapter 6.
Oh, all right.
I still have some of my complaints about like some of the gameplay and stuff, but the story is just I'm really loving the story right now.
So
big time.
If you just reached chapter 6, do you know what percentage you're at completion?
56%.
So that has to obviously include a bunch of side stuff.
I would assume so because I haven't done a ton of the side stuff, so I would imagine my percentage would be a little bit low when I actually beat the campaign, the main storyline.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll be curious what I end up with at the end, but because you can definitely tell that things are wrapping up in the storyline, like things are just escalating.
Yeah.
Like you still. Like chapter 6, you move to a new area, new problems, something happened in the old area.
Right.
Another thing I just noticed is like, I guess I didn't really notice it, but like every new camp you make or every new area, there's also like a main gang that you kind of have to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts out with O'Driscoll's, then it's the Lemoyne Riders.
Yep.
And now I've met the new local like gang people who are, crazy. And, that's kind of interesting and fun to play through. So.
Yeah. And those are probably more. That's probably where some of the side content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes.
And I'm skipping a lot of the Stranger stuff. I've done a little bit of it, but yeah, the story at this point. Not only do I not want to play the Stranger stuff because it's side content, I just really want to hear the story. So like the story is ramping up so much that I really enjoy it. So I just want to keep playing that.
Well, I think kind of like in Spider-Man, where once you got to that third act of Spider-Man, the world kind of changed, and there was really
there's a mission that I didn't think about it because they don't give you a warning, which is pretty smart for Red. Like a lot of games would have like a big banner that says if you do this mission, it'll change this, and that's very not like this game. This game wants you to just kind of live in the world, so they wouldn't tell you up. But thinking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, of course, if I do this mission, everything kind of changes.
Right.
And I did reach that point. I finished the mission. I was looking around. I was like, oh, okay. So, so I kind of have to just plow through the story at this point. Right. But it's getting really good.
Good. I am in chapter 4, so I'm in Saint Denis right now. I've done a couple of missions there. I did just get my second letter from Mary, Arthur's long lost love.
Okay.
And so I'm going, I think next, whenever I am able to play next, I'm going to go track her down again and see what's going on. And then just keep on going. It's I kind of wish I could have a weekend where I could just sit and play it for 5 or 6 hours. Which is right now I play for 30 minutes up to an hour at a time, which really is just a little bit short. I can usually get through 1 or 2 story missions, but that means I'm doing absolutely nothing extra.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate when you enjoy all that. So to not be able to play that, and there's so much of it. Another thing is you should know about is towards the end of chapter 4 and going through chapter 5, the story missions are pretty long. Like I would say at least a half hour, if not 45 minutes. There's some just big events, and you could stop it and pause it, and you could always, I don't know if you do this, but I always put my PlayStation to rest mode. I had to do that. I felt like things were it kept me going. I think I probably could have stopped, but it was like it seemed like a really long series of missions that I kind of had to keep going on, but nonetheless good.
Yeah, I especially if I'm in a game like Red Dead where it takes a little while to load and everything, I know I'm going to be playing it again right away. I try and leave it on
rest mode. Yeah.
On rest mode, but sometimes that backfires on me because someone accidentally unplugs something.
Yeah.
Or we get a random power outage here or something like that.
Yeah.
The other game I have been playing is Onrush. I downloaded that. That's one of the free games this month on PlayStation Plus, and so I've jumped into some matches there. It's good. It's fun. I think that it would be more fun with a group of people to play with, which we are hoping to do a community gaming night for PSXP here. But with the holidays, we're just kind of running out of time. I know my own schedule. I think I have family things every night except Wednesdays these next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's Christmas time. So I don't know when we are going to get to it, but we will at some point, and hopefully download Onrush, and we'll maybe early January we'll get to a PSXP gaming night. Speaking of that idea, we do have Patreon. PSVG Patreon launched last week. You can visit patreon.com/PSVG to find out more information on that. And we want to thank everybody, any listener, anyone who's contributing to that. Just kind of smashed it out of the park. We met all of our goals within, I think, the first day, which is pretty crazy. Which means that we are doing PSVG game nights. I know this coming Saturday is Smash Brothers game night. You can listen to Nintendo Shack for more info on that. And of course, check out all of our Twitter accounts, PSXP Podcast, PSVG, so forth. So we've got those going on. We've got a Patreon exclusive show called DLC, which is going to be some extracurricular, non-gaming, real life kind of stuff. There's a lot going on with the Patreon. We did also want to thank our show producers for supporting our Patreon. We've got Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris, Kyle Hyman, and Joel Voss, who's also Professor Switch on the Discord. Find us on the Discord, of course, and partake in our daily gaming conversations and tangents and things like that. So again, we just want to thank everybody for supporting those efforts. And as one kind of final thing here before signing off, I'm going to let this game invade PSXP very briefly right now. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Did you pick that one up?
I have not picked it up. I really want to finish Pokemon before I pick that up, so I'm actually going to trade them in.
Understandable.
So yeah, you've been playing?
I have. I would have liked to have finished Pokemon beforehand, but that's something that's more of the kids game, and I enjoyed Pokemon. It's a really good game. But I have been playing Super Smash Brothers, just playing through the World of Light mode, which is their adventure overworld map, and you go and do a bunch of different challenge missions to unlock people. And I'm having a lot of fun. I've only ever played Super Smash Brothers with other people, and I've had bad experiences because I hadn't had the Nintendo console, so I'd go to someone's house and play it, and I was terrible.
Yeah, and they're really good, and it's no fun when you're not only are you losing, but you're just getting beat on by someone who's way better than you.
And so I've played it that way. I played it on 3DS, which was fine. And then other than that, this is my first like full-on Super Smash Brothers game. And I've also played some of the knockoffs, like Brawl Out, PlayStation All-Stars. And kind of like how we were talking about Crash Team Racing, it might be a really good kart racer, but it's not Mario Kart.
Yep.
Brawl Out's fine. I had a fine time with PlayStation All-Stars.
But it's not,
after just 3 hours with Super Smash Brothers, they're not Super Smash Brothers. I mean, it's like it reminds me of the Friends episode where Ross is dating, he's dating the one girl, Julie or whatever, and then he's also interested in Rachel.
Yep.
And he makes a list about the pros and cons of each of them, and then he has all these terrible things about Rachel. Of course, she finds the list and gets angry at him, understandably. But then for Julie or Julia or whatever her name is, it just says not Rachel is her con. So that's kind of like what any of these other games are perfectly fine, good games, but they're just not Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this game's been. I mean, they put so much detail in this game. It's crazy how much detail they put into Smash Brothers, and like I think that's part of it too. Yeah. And you're playing with Nintendo characters, and it's the ultimate nostalgia mashup.
Right. Nostalgia, it's kind of like a museum. It's a digital museum of gaming between Nintendo characters. Although my two main people that I've been playing as have been Kirby, which I never would have thought, and the Mii sword fighter. So it's you can create it to look however you want to, and then it's the sword fighter. Those are my two mains right now. But I think there's 74 characters, and I've unlocked maybe 30. Not sure. So I've got a long ways to go, and I'm not rushing through anything. I'm just having fun. I have not touched online. I don't have Nintendo Online service yet. But maybe for this weekend, I'll at least do the trial so that I can hop on and play with PSVG folk. So, anyway, I think that's the show. You have anything else to add before we sign off?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Anyway, again, find us on the PSVG Discord. You can find us on Twitter, our show at PSXP Podcast. Visit our Patreon, patreon.com/PSVG. Thank you for everyone who listens. Whether or not you contribute to the Patreon, it doesn't matter. Please send us feedback. Please get involved with us. We're all just fans. We all just like games, and we're glad to have people to talk about them with. So, anyway, have a great week. Never stop gaming.
And though we may pledge fanboy allegiances to different flags, deep down inside we all serve one master, one king. And his name is gaming. Forever may he reign!
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network.